but it's also a technology. It's also a machine. The symbol of the pyramid is that which is reaching up. It's something that's reaching for the heavens. It represents geometry, and there is geometry that makes this energy field of the time field I'm talking about function. It's all based on geometry, which is more complex than we're going to do in this presentation. But the time field is something which not only affects the passage of linear time, it also affects the health of your body. The more of this time field is flowing through your body, the healthier you're going to be. And paradoxically, the slower you're going to age. It's when the flow of the time field stops that you move out of eternity, that you move out of timelessness. It's when time stops flowing through you that you stop being an eternal being and you begin aging. Remember that scientific study that Deepak Chopra talked about in Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, where he gets a bunch of elderly people and he puts them in a room where it has the magazines of 40 years ago, it has the radio broadcasts, it has all the furniture, everything. What he found was that within a very short period of time, all these people had a remarkable turnaround where they started reverse aging. They actually started getting younger in a way that is molecularly, biologically provable. That's because the time field started flowing again. They started to have hope. The time field is that which gives you inspiration. If you want to know whether the time field is really flowing through you or not, you can tell because you will be in a state of uplifting gratitude and positive emotion. It is a scientific fact that the more that your mind goes into that state of resonance, of positive attitude, of fearlessness, of courage, you are causing time to flow through you faster, which means you have the power of eternity at your fingertips, which means you are at the forefront of the human evolutionary process. But this is not something that only relies upon your ingenuity and your dedication to a spiritual path. It is something that is being done for you by forces that are very mysterious because they are much greater than what you would normally think of as your conscious mind. You want to talk about the monolith in 2001 and how mysterious that was. That's not even the beginning of what we're talking about now. This big stone slab shows up, and all of a sudden all those cavemen learn how to use tools, and they can kill each other now, and they become the dominant species. And then at the point where the movie goes into the present, the monolith shows up on the moon, and Commander David Bowman at the end of the movie ends up becoming the new Adam, the new species of humanity after he goes through a Stargate. There's a lot of things that are known on the inside, and this stuff is not a secret. It's not a secret even though it has been kept secret. It has been attempted to be kept secret. It is not secret. All of the information we need is already here so that we can definitively understand that what's happening to the earth is a naturally occurring process. It is a sacred process motivated by forces of intelligence that would stagger the imagination. Back in the old days, you had a LAN system in which a computer was just a monitor and a typewriter, and you plugged it up to one central computer, and everybody's little dummy terminal, as it was called, was plugged into that one computer. On some level, each of us is the dummy terminal. We appear to be separate. We appear to be an identity that has an ego, that has a body, and we identify with the body. On some grander level, the body is merely a projection. It's like if you have a prism, and light is going through the prism, and as it rotates, you see these rainbows around the room. And each one of you is one of those rainbows. But would you say that those rainbows are each an individual generator of light? No. The light is generated by whatever is striking the prism. Those individual pieces of rainbow light are just the reflections of the one light that strikes the prism. If you want to really get into the esoteric science and understand what the ancient prophecies are telling us and why it's so relevant to what you're going to hear in this talk, try to vibe into the fact that the entire manifest universe, that matter and energy itself, is but reflections of this one singular light, that all visibility in the universe, everything we can measure, is a reflection into what we think is space and what we think is time. But when you start really understanding what time is, you realize you can go whatever direction you want, forwards, backwards, and sideways. And when you understand space, you realize that space doesn't pose any obstacle if you can pop through to time-space, back and forth from space-time to time-space. You can wormhole yourself or portal yourself or whatever they want to call it from any point in the universe to any other instantaneously. That's how it's done, because there is no actual location. Location is an illusion which is based on the rules of the road so that we have one intelligent super being that has wanted to experience multiplicity, that has wanted to experience separation so that it can reunify. In terms of how that functions in our galaxy, the galaxy is generating intelligent waves, which you're going to see the proof for in this presentation. And those waves upgrade the speed of this time field, or of what I call the source field. The speed of vibration of the source field is going up. If that speed represents how well you think, it's no different than you upgrading your computer and going from this ridiculously bad processor where you could barely even get any of your websites to load because it takes so long, and getting this really fast machine where now every page, sorry about that. She almost jumped right out of her seat. I'll try to do that a little more delicately next time. Is that better? Okay. So, you broke me out of my trance now. Now I got to actually talk from the ego. How's it going, man? What the hell was I talking about? All right, let's see. We got to get the download back in play here. When we understand that this energy field is part of the galaxy, that the galaxy is a conscious being, the galaxy has energy that must be conscious. The energy that's in the entire universe must be conscious, and it must create life. Life is the divine imprimatur of all energy in the universe. All energy in the universe is built to create life. The physicists call this the Goldilocks principle, and they don't even have a clue as to how far the Goldilocks principle goes. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. That's what they're talking about in terms of planets like ours, and how we have just the right amount of oxygen, just the right amount of water, just the right temperature. All these things are perfect. It's not an accident. Life on Earth is not some random little thing that only happens once in the history of the cosmos. Life on Earth is actually programmed to be here because we have to get rid of this idea. Well, we don't have to. I try not to use must and have to because those are very strong words. It would be beneficial